All right, so carry the 1, divide by the square roots, and hold up, wait a minute, what? Hey everyone, it's Spopes. I'm about to explain why we don't need to worry about ESO going anywhere, anytime in the near future. Before we dive in, please remember to like the video, hype it if you're on mobile, and subscribe. Recently, Microsoft Game Studios made the news by demanding that all of its games make a 30% profit margin. This is higher than the industry average, and it can seem like a lot. According to Bloomberg, the average profit margin in video games is 17 to 22%, but ESO is likely making 60 to 70% profits. There were a lot of factors at play here, but ultimately the main reason New World Eternum was canceled was because it was losing Amazon selling like $50 million a year. It was making negative profit margins. It was costing Amazon considerably. This is just an AI estimate, but New World was costing around 100 mil per year to operate, and it was only making around 70 million. ESO, on the other hand, only costs around 50 million per year to operate, but there are a couple reasons we know that it makes around 200 million a year. First of all, around the 10-year anniversary of the game in 2024, it was announced that it had already made $2 billion, and 2 billion divided by 10 is 200 million. Also, one of the LinkedIn profiles for a lead developer at ZOS flexed that he was making the studio $15 million a month on the game, and 15 times 12 also averages out to around 200. So it might fluctuate, but yeah, every month ESO pulls in around $15 million, and it only costs around $5 million a month to operate the game. So here's why I'm stoked about this, and also why it's a little bit concerning. At least right now, the gaming industry is a lot more about making money than it is about making games. You can have an absolutely excellent idea for a game that players would love, but if it's not making money, it's not going to work. That is exactly what happened with New World. Many players loved the game, but the fact that it was losing money made it so that Amazon could no longer justify the cost. In comparison, it'll be a lot harder for Microsoft Game Studios and Microsoft overall to just say goodbye to $100 to $150 million in yearly profits. For a company like Microsoft, that is still a drop in the bucket, but it is a sizable drop. That's not just nothing. In this age where everyone is basically in agreement that MMOs are dying, the way to actually make MMOs future-proofed is to make sure they make lots of money. At this point, ESO is in the same arena with World of Warcraft, which might make up to $1 billion per year, but only costs around 300 million to operate. That means it also has a 70% or so profit margin. It also compares favorably to OSRS, with profit margins probably sitting somewhere around 65%. We want the games we love to succeed. We want them to still be around for years to come. The only way they'll be around for years to come is if they make money. So that's the positive side to this. The negative side is how ESO makes this money. The general Crown store is all right. Things are often on sale, quote unquote, and the prices aren't egregious. But then there are Crown Crates, one of the last remaining examples of loot boxes in the video game industry, where if you want to guarantee that you're going to get one of the Radiant Apex mounts, you're just going to sink around $300 to $500. Then there's also ESO Plus, the optional subscription that costs $140 a year. That's really the bread and butter here for ZOS, all the people who are subbed to ESO Plus. The Crown Crate whales probably make up a pretty good percentage of the revenue as well, and also the other Crown Store purchases. So ESO makes this type of bank by being kind of exploitative, by gating the best items behind gambling, essentially requiring a subscription to make the game playable, and having just so many items in the shop that eventually something is going to appeal to you. But then again, at the same time, if this wasn't the case in ESO, the game probably wouldn't be around. The shop in New World is much more limited. There was no subscription in New World. Once you paid the base price of the game, there weren't really many other options for how Amazon could squeeze more money out of you. So in the end, I'm left with a kind of balanced perspective here. Is it great that everything costs so much in ESO? That it's an expensive game? No, not really. I can't say that's great. But at the same time, ESO itself is a great game. There's so much to explore and to do. I and many millions of others love this game, and I don't want to see it go anywhere. But as we saw with New World, if a game isn't profitable, it dies. So now, as ESO players, we're left with a difficult question. Do we continue to support the game even when the content isn't so great, to make sure that it will be there for years to come? Do we band together to reduce the revenue the game makes, to push it to be better? I don't think I quite have an answer to that yet. I'm not sure whether personally I'm going to keep supporting ESO, and I honestly don't know how much my support is just an irrelevant drop in the bucket. What I do feel is some sense of relief that regardless of what we as individuals do, ESO makes enough money off of casual players who don't even know better and just stay subbed because they like the game that it's very unlikely to go anywhere. Now, yes, of course, Microsoft could just decide game's over because I say so, and it just disappears, just like that. But again, if they did that, they'd have to say goodbye to up to $150 million a year. And even if you're Bill Gates, $150 million a year isn't nothing. At the end of this analysis, I'm left with a hopeful feeling. ESO just makes too much money to just be cut randomly, or because it's not meeting the new profit margin expectations, or the profits are just overall too low to really justify keeping the game going. ESO is a major cash cow, which definitely does have its negatives, but it's in the same arena as WoW and RuneScape in terms of being too big to fail. And regarding the future of ESO, I recently revisited Matt Fuhr's 2024 letter to the community, where he apologized for canceling the North American live events, but he did give the reason that they need to focus on the game itself. Over the next year, we should expect all of the base alliance zones to be reskinned. We're also going to see the implementation of new overworld difficulties and the introduction of new zones like Craglorn, designed for high-end PvE gear chases. And this is just what the former studio head announced back in 2024. So I just honestly forgot about this, and I really appreciate you guys pointing it out, that they essentially said they were putting ESO on maintenance mode for a year to fix it. And there are going to be some huge announcements coming next year. So any worries that the game is in decline or it's going to stop making the money that it currently does are pretty unsubstantiated. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with my analysis in the comments, what you think about the fact that ESO just makes an egregious amount of money, whether you're happy with that because it means the game is doing well, whether you're disgusted by how high the profit margins are. Honestly, I'm kind of in between those two. And to support my work here on the channel, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, also hype it if you're on mobile, and you can support me directly with super thanks in the comments or becoming a member of the Spopes Army. Lord, I thank you for ESO. I thank you for making it too profitable to fail, at least right now. Please continue to make the game excellent for years to come. Give the developers wisdom and frugality with choosing how to invest in the game. Let more of this revenue be used to make the game better, at the same time that the game is future-proofed by providing profits to Microsoft. And Lord, please bless everyone playing the game and keeping it alive. Please bless my channel, help it continue to grow, and bless everyone watching with everything they need in life. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. So thank you all for watching. Again, please don't hold back with your thoughts on the situation in the comments. Don't forget to like, hype, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, make sure to turn on notifications because I'll be back soon with new content.